I told you that was not a toy hauler? At least not a traditional one by any sense. Hey everybody, my name is Josh the RV Nerd. We're hanging out in my hometown Coldwater, Michigan store today with the Wildwood or Salem FSX Max Series 270 RTK. This is, it is one of the most weird in-betweeners, and the FSX division of Salem Wildwood, same RV by the way, two different names, same RV. They are just becoming the masters at forging out their own little in-between spaces in the RV industry. So certainly, by default, you could use this like the exact same no-slide, wide-open rear toy hauler thing that everybody and their brother makes. But this is their Max series. This is a big brother to the 260 RT. The 270 RTK has things like a little mini camp kitchenette up front, taller ceilings, and you can just squeeze a side-by-side ATV in one of these. The person who designs these is a big side-by-side ATV enthusiast and said, I think it's stupid. I built something I can't even use, and they created this thing right here. The taller ceilings help open it up, but it is still just 8 foot wide. It has obviously the patio set up on the back with a magnetic rear screen door, but instead of the same power Happy Jack bed system that everybody else uses, they got together with ryde, and they basically created a removable, like flip up down quad bunk system. You could legit use this like a bunkhouse, or what if like most of the time it's just you and the dogs or something like that, and every now and then we bring a friend, or you know, maybe you have teenage kids, sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. This is an RV that could have additional sleeping spaces if you need it, but not always. Now, it's got a heated belly, it's enclosed, you've got an optional solar package shown here. You can get this in their Platinum series with the fiberglass skin if that's your preference as well, and the Max series sits up a little higher off the ground. But it is not without a couple little hitches in its giddy up, and I'm gonna point out a couple of those points of consideration and concern as we go. And if you like that fair approach, the good with the bad, hit that subscribe button. Let's roll, baby. Now, the FSX division of Salem Wildwood is kind of its own, it's like a cousin to the other stick and tin tandem axle campers. These guys make single axles and they make toy haulers. It's kind of an interesting little subdivision that they have right there. And you'll see that obviously lightened and brightened interior decor going on these here. And like I said, this doesn't have to be just a toy hauler. What I like about this one, normally when you see a floor plan like this, once you unload the toys, yeah, you have a couple benches, but they kind of suck to sit at. And I ain't telling you these are like superior, like categorically, although ryde does make stuff a little bit better. Like there's rubber, almost support banding under that, which is far more friendly to the buttocks, as Forrest Gump would have said. But that left-hand bench off the screen, if you do choose to add a TV, it could be a decent little entertainment spot, especially if you put a little pivoting swing arm TV on that. And you might be going, why did they put an electric space heat and fireplace up here where it's singeing my chest hair? A little different from chestnuts roasting on an open fire. You know, there's all kinds of storage down below it that we'll see. Why didn't they put the fireplace down by the floor? Doesn't heat rise? Remember, then you do still use this like a little bit of a garage going down the road, and they wanted to keep the glass front on that thing away from shifting cargo. Now, remember, this does have a taller ceiling from the rest of the FSX toy haulers. That's part of the Max package, basically. So that extra ceiling height and the extra ramp door loading height allows you to get some bigger things in here. Again, potentially some side-by-sides will fit into this thing. But I think I've beat around the bush enough. I think it's time that we see this thing in kind of all of its different, you know, features and functions and whatever. So let's kick it over here into bunk mode real quick. You can option those overhead bunks in. Technically, you can option them a la carte. I do think, for the most part, this is probably how you're going to see these things most of the time, where you have both of the flip-down beds. Now, you've got 6 of those food-grade storage totes stored down below those benches right there, which is kind of cool. Although, you can totally get them out of the way. You may notice they're free-floating. You don't have to put them there. They're just trying to find creative ways to maximize storage wherever possible. Obviously, if you're loading stuff, you may need to shove those over in front of the doorway, like the bedroom and the bathroom doorway. So that may or may not have an adverse effect on your road mode traveling function of an RV like this. But check out that refrigerator door. It is, the technical term for that is the flipsy-flopsy refrigerator door. As you see, it can open from either side. Although, I found out earlier, you need to make sure it is fully latched on one side before opening it on the other, because I literally took the entire face of the door off. It is shockingly easy to do. That, by the way, is something that I really like. It's a combination stovetop and convection microwave oven, almost like a motorhome that you're finding here in this towable RV. That's just a neat little thing. I don't know, I personally enjoy. You see some household and USB outlets over there. You see the same thing over here. If you wanted to snake some cords up or down to be able to power stuff at the upper or lower bunks, you could. That was a magnetic removable screen wall, by the way, which gives it a nice clean look when it's not in play. Just kind of whatever works for you. Something else I kind of thought about. This style of ramp patio is organically a puppy saver. A lot of ramp patios on a lot of RVs for years had these almost 6-inch gaps beside them, and some manufacturers are including little puppy saver flaps, but you don't got to worry about that here. You know, you can basically use this to keep all the critters penned in, whether it's the four-legged furry friends or your crazy Uncle Gary. You know, my Uncle Gary, I swear, he ate a bunch of laxatives before my daughter's birthday, and that guy is seriously a party pooper. But never mind all that. Sometimes it's the little details. Jayco did this in one of their models. They added just that little flip-up shelf right there. It's not a massive ordeal, but every little space counts. Bring a couple little folding stools or chairs or something. That could be an awesome little kind of miniature coffee bar. I don't want to call it like a dining overlook. It's just big enough probably for a plate, but that's just about it right here. Also, you do naturally have the option of upgrading to the larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner. The only problem I'm having with this kitchen arrangement is when I make these videos, I like to kind of pretend sometimes I'm a vampire and you can't see me. It is hard to do when you've got a mirror-like finish staring you in the face. Now, this is interesting to me. Even the small single-axle FSX models normally have a big rectangular farm sink. This just kind of has this little circle sink buried in the middle of this countertop over here. I sort of wish they would have just gone small square sink over here or full farm sink. But what would you prefer here? Square sink, circle sink, left or right, center, or a full-on farm sink? Leave me a comment, let me know, and I'll feed that back to the RV builder, basically. And you see easy reach appliance outlets back here in this corner, so that none of this is really hard to get to because you can walk right up to it, so none of this is tricky. One thing I will tell you is they just adopted this new cabinet style pull stuff right here. Sometimes these things are freaking sharp, but again, I relayed that to the factory and they're already on top of it. They said, yeah, you got one of the first runs that came out on video there. We are making some efforts to round that off a little bit so it's not gonna rip your thighs apart when you're trying to make a sandwich or whatever. Now, something I found a little bit interesting is the location of the stereo. I don't know if I dislike it. I don't know if I like it. It's over here by the thermostat and the control center. So I suppose it's kind of centrally located, and I think if you're Bluetoothing to it, which most people probably would do, you know, you're going to control your volume likely off your phone or device or whatever. It is AM/FM, by the way. A lot of brands are going away from any sort of AM/FM. This one doesn't have that little distinction there. Now, that is a smaller sink. It's just big enough for adult hands here, though, just to give you a reference point. It's just enough space, but that did allow them to give you a little bit more counter space over there. Now, that open pocket is going to be very nice for, what do I want to say, butt napkin roller holders, I believe is the technical term for one of those things. And it doesn't have an enclosed medicine cabinet, but I guess that shelving with the lips on it over there kind of acting a little bit like it. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with the bathroom right now, but I think it's going to get better. I love the taller ceiling in this thing. That 7-foot ceiling means awesome headroom in here. 7 foot, 6'9". What is this? I think this is 7 foot. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's about 7 foot. Sorry, I'm operating from a little bit of memory here, and I'm getting little fuzzy half-heimers. I do like the rectangular shower instead of the radius, but the location of this toilet needs attention. It's so close to the wall partition on the right side that I can't even get my arm around without grinding it through there. Personally, I think, and I've already talked to the factory on this, he's going to look at it. If they just turned the toilet
a couple degrees, I think it would solve all the problems. I think that this could work very, very well. It just needs a little bit of the toilet twisties. And, you know, nobody wants to do any twist 'em up bathroom yoga.
And the bedroom here is another love-hate. I do like that it's privatized. I'm not a big fan of the fact that the Bed Goblin Union's going to rip my toes off of this short camp queen if my feet hang over the edge. I do appreciate the fact that they gave us room for a true queen in here. I just kind of would prefer to see one from the factory. But the FSX division, for simplicity's sake, only stocks one mattress. Now, you've got household and USB outlets over there. I meant to close that. Hold on. You saw nothing. That was closed when you got here. Anyway, obviously you've got your hanging wardrobe towers. You do have a enclosed cabinet above the bed. That's awesome. It doesn't have any kind of struts to hold itself open. That's less awesome. Over here, if you add the solar package, that's where our charge controller is located. And you will see full-on breeze and view... Stop it. Stop it. Full-on breeze and viewing windows on both sides of the bed. Stupid door. Screw me up. Well, you know what? I left both of the stupid hanging wardrobe towers open. So once again, pretend that it's closed and we're looking at the other side. And here we go looking at the bedroom storage space on this one. You may notice that the bed does lift up. This is, I don't know if it's an accident or the one that I'm in right now. The bed struts are not holding up the mattress. I don't know if it's because they're angled improperly, if they're not strong enough, or what the deal is. And this is not a super awesome, like, inner spring heavy-duty mattress. This is just a backbreaker death wafer, like typically comes in the RV industry. I've, again, reported that to the factory. I'm hoping they take a look at it. And I'm hoping that what I'm seeing in this video is just a one-off occurrence. But I also hope you appreciate the transparency that I offer, that if I see something, even if it's just a one-off glitch, I'll be fair and tell you about it. Alright, so if we start looking at something like this, I kind of said it's an in-betweener. Well, what kind of vehicle does an in-betweener take to carry? If you look at this, the dry weight, you're like 6,200 pounds. Heck yeah, my half-ton can handle that. But you gotta remember, you can use it as a toy hauler, and as a result, it does have a pretty hefty cargo capacity. It also has a ton of campside windows. We're unfortunately right up next to this wolf pack here, and I don't have a good bead on those for you. You'll see that when you view the RV in person. Of course, we also saw the windows from the inside. But my point here is fully maxed out with cargo. This thing comes in about 9,850 pounds or something like that. You factor in the general bigger, taller, higher riding shape of this thing, and the overall size and potential loaded weight, and its half-ton towability starts to be questionable to me. Overall, I think a 3/4 ton's a good generalized recommendation. It is not impossible. Some very capable half-tons could handle this one, but again, if you're going through adverse terrain, windy conditions, towability factors start to change. You really want to bump up a vehicle category. Now, you might notice this is all prep for that, what do they call it? Ladder on the go. Although I'd prefer to use the ladder when the RV's stationary. It's called the ladder on the go. Basically, telescopic, removable ladder prep up near the roof line of that thing. Now, notice they don't really do like a lot of like fancy pants skirting or anything like that, which frankly I like, because it feels like one less thing to get damaged and ripped off the RV. You theoretically actually can lower the RV down to the ground a little bit. I think most people are going to want to leave it riding high. And as long as I'm back here, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze down here. You can see how you do have that fully enclosed armored accessibility underneath this thing right here. That is something that your like luxury Forest River fifth wheel brands like Cedar Creek originally did, and they were the only ones doing it for years, and suddenly Wildwood and Salem said, boy, I like that. I want me some of that. Now, I got mixed emotions on this, and I don't know why my voice jumped an octave, but I need some input, please. Hot, cold outside utility shower. Great. Cold water sprayer port right next to it. Now, the sprayer port is a little bit higher pressure, and with that one being a little bit closer to the single sewer outlet that you have over here, well, maybe that does make a little bit more sense than I'm giving it credit for, but it just seems weird to have two outside water sources right next to one another. Now, I wanted to peel down this side of the RV first. Well, first of all, because we're next to that wolf pack, but secondly, to showcase that it doesn't have a full pass-through compartment. Now you're seeing some daylight over there. You're going to see why in just a second. You do have a big chunk of storage down there. If some cargo shifts a little bit, gets under that bed, it could be a little bit tricky to get to, but I think that it could probably be managed. As I mentioned before, this one's 8 foot wide. By the way, congratulations to the already owner of this RV. You might notice a little sold tag down there. This one literally sold in the driveway as it was being unhooked from the delivery driver's truck. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, we have a couple more in stock across all of our various stores. I do like the fact, by the way, they use very minimal, like, swooshy decals on these. This actually has more of them than a lot of the brands that I've seen recently, but for the most part, it's just painted aluminum. Now, this is why we don't have a full pass-through. First of all, over on the right-hand side, you see like a portable solar prep plug in case you want to park in the shade and chase the sun. But they have standardized this. In the Max series, in the front pass-through compartment, they have basically a mini camp kitchen with that little slide-out griddle, with the propane cooker hooker down below it, and the little college kid mini fridge. Now, this RV doesn't have any level of inversion, so that fridge is not running in transit. Though the fact that your main refrigerator has that, like, flipsy-flopsy double door, which should absolutely be the name of that thing. That's the technical term for it, obviously. You could probably still get into that when you're going down the road. Now, much better look at all the campsite window coverage on this one. Starting on the right-hand side in the bedroom, then the hallway. You see you have a full viewing window in the entry door, and of course, the big panoramic and basically bunk viewing windows that you have over here, all on the campsite, letting you check out your site. Now, quick housekeeping note. I think somebody might ask, can I get it with just the Happy Jack bed? I would prefer that. And no, they don't stock that part in this facility, so it's not an option they offer. You can get 1 or 2 of the MORryde beds. Last I knew, you could basically a la carte them into this floor plan. You don't even have to have them there, but you've got the fold-up benches down below, and then you got the fold-up bunk racks up above, basically. That's how this one comes, with or without fiberglass skin, with or without solar. What do you think of the new interior? What do you think of that wacky refrigerator door? What do you think about the whole thing in general? Let me know. I'll leave you a link in the video description. Check for pricing and availability in the Salem or Wildwood versions of this. Looking at Wildwood today, again, Salem 270 RTK, literally same thing, but it has like blue stripes or something like that. Same camper. Peel the stripes off and they're the same thing. If you appreciate info like that, if you like how we go through all the details for you, hit that subscribe button or like our video if you've returned, or just, leave us a little note. Say thanks, nerd, and I appreciate it. You take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.